Hello everybody, this is Fun Police, bringing you a bit of something different this week. Just in the later half of last week, the demo for a game called Inscryption came out. This is the full game from what was essentially a game jam prototype of something called Sacrifices Must Be Made. The full game comes out October 19th, but for now I wanted to just kind of run through the demo and namely cover all of the secrets and stuff to solve within it. Inscryption, for people that don't know, was made by the same person that made Pony Island, which was a sort of metagame where you had to essentially break outside of the game to do stuff. And Inscryption is shaping up to be very similar to that. It is a deck builder it is a deck builder that then combines a sort of escape room and other puzzles and probably a lot more once we get the full game. But for right now, I just simply want to go through and essentially show you all of the secrets within the game. We're gonna pretty much run through the first tutorial just to show you the game, but after that I'm going to just show you everything, all the secrets this demo has to offer. So, in this game, as you've seen, we are playing a deck trying to tip the enemy scale all the way down while not dying ourselves. This essentially means we share a health bar. So any damage you deal is technically healing you, as you have more life to lose before you lose the game. Units will engage in combat attacking each other. They don't fight back, they only deal damage when they attack. As you see, they have attack and health. There's also abilities, but we don't have any of those right now. And cards have the cost of blood or sacrifices. For example, the Stoat requires only that singular sacrifice to be played out. Meanwhile, our Wolves and the River Snapper require 2 sacrifices. On our turn, we can either draw from our deck, giving us our bigger creatures, or draw a 0/1 squirrel, which is essentially meant to sacrifice in favor of the various creatures. It's a very interesting game, and there's definitely a lot to add to it as the time goes on. But for now, so that's going to be the end. If you're interested in this game, and definitely if you want to find secrets, I highly recommend you actually stop watching this video for now and explore a bit on your own. But otherwise, I'm going to skip ahead to where we can actually start getting into the secrets, as we have quite a bit of a tutorial that we'd have to walk through otherwise. So I'll see you all in just a mere moment. Alrighty, we are back with the first opportunity we have to find some secrets. After you lose a match, namely there is a set match where you lose, you're allowed to stand up from the table in order to get access to the in order to get the candlestick, this is what we're supposed to get, but we can actually do a little bit of a couple other things when we start. So over here, next to this wolf statue, there are these 3 candles, and as you can see, we can click it. Now, when we click it, the smoke is going to collect in this little lamp. Now, this doesn't do anything the first time we do it around, but however, if we do it a second time, it'll fill more with smoke, and a third time, and we will get a reward for this. But we will have to do this over multiple runs, so we'll come back to that later. There's also this clock over here, which is pretty much right behind you when you initially stand up. Now, this clock is very important. It has some very big things in it, although they're not available within the demo. However, there is one secret that people have found, and that is if we set the hours to 11 o'clock, a cuckoo clock comes out with a ring. Now, this ring actually does not have any purpose, seemingly. And it also is important to note that these things seem to be a bit randomized. So it may be 11 o'clock for you, it may be midnight for you. It is all a bit different. Beyond that, there's also this safe over here. Now, this safe is usually the first secret people will find. And where you get the code I will explain in a minute. However, if you restart your run or restart your game like this and know the code already, there's actually a little bit of an Easter egg we can find. So let me type in the code. Oops. And there's this thing in there. Can't interact with it, can't do anything to it. Just this blob of meat. There's nothing we can do with it. But that is something that we can interact, or something you can do. Now let's just get the candlestick and bring it back to the table. Still part of the tutorial. And that's all we can do for this first part. We'll join back when we've gone through more of the tutorial and are able to play more of the game now. See you in a bit. Also, one basic thing before we get into the other secrets is that when you get to the Prospector boss, which is the end of the demo normally, if you lose to him, you're able to restart your runs and are able to replay this thing in order to find more secrets. So make sure you actually just end up throwing in order to lose to him, as otherwise you don't get that chance to see everything the demo has to offer. Beating him just ends up playing the trailer for the game and then crashing the game. You have to specifically lose to him. Alright, we are back. After losing to the Prospector, the second time around, you'll end up losing, he'll make you go get your figure. Now, normally, if you did not get the secret for the safe the first time, this would actually just be, you'd hear something coming out of the safe. But because we have done that, we are able to actually access it. Now, let me show you where you're supposed to actually find this code. Inside this book is the encyclopedia for all of the effects within the game. And on the Mighty Leap page, or the one for the Bullfrog, is actually the safe combination, which for me is 273, but I've also seen people have theirs be 274. And after you do that, you're able to go over here, open the safe, and this is what is normally in here. The stink bug and a key. Stink bug is the second talking card next to the stoat. And beyond that, we also have a key. Now, this key actually goes right over here into this cabinet, which unlocks a handful of puzzles. We also actually have this candle. So there's candle number 2 also. Now, these puzzles have some cards that we could use within them. If we look at this, we are actually trying to deal 5 damage. It's a bit hard to understand, but you're essentially, this is the board, and you want to make it so this deals 5 damage. Not a hard puzzle for this first one. And this unlocks a card, the Skink. The Skink has the unique ability of when it takes damage, it cuts off the tail, moves to the right, and leaves the tail to block the attack. Honestly, a pretty useful card, it seems. Then over here, we have a more complicated puzzle. If you don't want to know how to solve this puzzle, pause and skip ahead a couple seconds, about 30 seconds, and you should miss it. But for those that are looking for the solution, we essentially don't want to attack the Skink, as that will move it in front of the wolf or the 3-2. And that will mess it up, but that is the effect. And with that said, we get 2 cards, the ants, the worker ant and the queen ant. The worker ant, essentially, this symbol for their attack is the more ants they have on the board, the stronger they become. And the queen ant is the same thing, except it also adds a worker ant to your hand. Beyond that, we also have this picture right here. This picture varies wildly in what it does, but it shows you the board and how you want to set it up. There are a total of 3 rewards for doing these, but you'll have to do only 1 per run. This one requires a wolf in the leftmost position and a squirrel to the right of the wolf. The rest of the board does not matter. All that matters is that you have the wolf here and the squirrel there. And with that, let's take the figure to him. And that's all the secrets so far. All that's really left to do is get this done, and we'll show you, we'll cut back when we get that ready to go, and we'll be able to see what those do. Alrighty, so we are about to set up the effect. Once I place down this squirrel, we're going to see this weird glitch, and you're going to hear that noise. That means you have successfully completed it and can now successfully move on to collecting what is in the picture. Let's just skip over this, explaining another part of the tutorial. But now we're going to get up and head over to the portrait, and there is this plant, which we can actually take out of it. And if we go sit back down, he mentions if we don't like the cards, which, perfect example. Now, there's this little 4-leaf clover. So if we look at these cards, and none of these are really that good, we can click the clover and get 3 new cards. And let's take the grizzly, because he's a big dog, one of the biggest creatures in the game. And that is it for the first one. We'll jump back again for the second picture in a little bit. 2 other things is, first off, we're going to do the last candle right now, which, as we see, changes, and the smoke. Now, we'll jump ahead, and you'll see in just a moment what that involves. But before that, if we look, there's the skull that has appeared, and there's some shiny stuff. If we click on those are actually golden teeth that you can collect. The amount is random, varying from 1 to 5 every time you perform a run. Useful when you're looking to go to the trapper and purchase his wares. And here we see the reward for putting out that candle 3 times, as seen previously. Greater Smoke is a 1/3 entity, creature, whatever you want to call it, that is free and still gives the 4 bones, making it significantly stronger than the standard smoke. Very useful probably in boss fights and just in general, although sadly due to the demo we really don't get to use this because you never want to win You always want to throw the mat so you can get another run in. But otherwise, still pretty good. And we are back, this time again with a second reward. And let's just simply go see what it is. This time it's a candle. And when we go to sit back down, it's stapled onto there. And essentially now we have a third life. It also means that during the boss battle we actually get an additional smoke or greater smoke, meaning we have a total of 2 of them, and that's quite a lot. Especially with the greater smokes, having 2 1-3s that are free is just essentially a free win. But again, as I said before, the demo kind of punishes us for winning, so well. Alrighty, we are back. Very quickly, we are going to get the final effect going. Set that up. Now let's just quickly end this game. And we will see what the third and final reward for it is. Alrighty. So with that all set, let's get up and just go see what that final one is. This time it's a little bug. And when we sit back down, don't like squirrels, do we? And essentially what it does is that now our deck of squirrels, we actually can't see it, but the squirrels that we would see in the game have been replaced with bees, which are free just as the same as squirrels, but they have 1 attack and are airborne. A massive upgrade over the other ones. Significantly better and much stronger overall. And with that done, that is pretty much it in terms of the secrets of the game. There's a couple cards that I want to show off. Some of the more obscure things that you can do within the card game itself, and we'll go to that in a moment. But in terms of the cabin, we've pretty much done everything. But otherwise, we can also talk about this. This is a rare card you will see. It is a Joker card. Whenever you draw it, it turns into a random thing. But beyond all that, we've done everything possible, although that's definitely not it. We're just waiting on the game to not be a demo. There's a lot of things within the cabin that we can talk about. For example, if you notice down here and down here, it's 2 number 4s at the bottom of this door, which is the door you get dragged through when you lose the game. So there absolutely is something to be solved there. There's this wolf statue that definitely needs to be freed. How we will do that is only going to be in the game. But it noticeably goes over here and possibly gets this knife for us. What we're going to do with the knife is not really known, although people have had some guesses. There is this locked part, which requires a second key that we don't know about. And beyond that, there is also this second part of the clock that has yet to be figured out as how to get it to open, at least without cheating. But all that is for the demo, is not for the demo. We just simply don't have the access we need or the items we need in order to do any of that. But otherwise, let's just skip ahead to those last couple unique things in game that are secrets, and then we'll wrap this up. One other secret is that after a certain amount of runs, a random eye will appear. It's right there, looking like a little drone, essentially. And there isn't really anything you can do to interact with it. Similar and then if you approach it, it disappears. And on top of that, there's actually another secret similar to that, a hallucination, which is a little skeleton man that appears down below these statues. And I'll actually show you footage of that real quick. One other secret I want to bring up is that when you go to collect your items from one of the backpacks, if you have 3 items and you go there, there's actually something else that you will be given. A little rat pops out and gives you the pack rat card. It is for 2 sacrifices, you get a 2/2 creature, and this ability gives you 1 random item. That is all for that, though. Alrighty, we are back with another secret, and this one is related to the ringworm. When you pick it up, it does not look appealing at all. It's a 0/1 that costs 1 sacrifice, but the narrator actually mentions that the ringworm has other uses, and it very much does. So we're going to take that, and then what you want to do is you want to take the ringworm to a fire with these hungry survivors. You're then going to pick the ringworm and put it on there. Now, the fire is essentially where you're able to increase the stats of your card, but you can then push your luck to get extra bonuses out of it. However, eventually they will eat your card and you'll lose it right there. So they eat it, and then you leave, and then we're going to cut ahead a moment because we've just done the secret. So, now that we're back with the fire, if we move over into the fire after feeding them the ringworm, no one's there. So now, what essentially we can do is take any of our cards and essentially just get maximum upgrades on it. So as you see, I didn't even have to risk it, and I have now a 310 wolf. And I believe that works for all fires within the run, which is quite useful. Very effective at just essentially being able to make OP cards like that. And with that all said, that is the end of the demo for Inscryption. We've just now gone over every single secret that is currently within the demo that we can access. Technically, you can get more done if you go into the files and edit them, but that is not a legitimate way to do it, so I'm not going to cover that, as it's also going to just spoil the rest of the game for me personally. If you like this video, make sure to leave a comment telling me so. I know this is a bit of a departure from other things I've done so far, but I liked this game way back when the Game Jam version came out, and this is a really exciting thing to come out for me, so I wanted to just show it off and compile all the secrets we found, because I had a lot of fun finding all these. Make sure to also like and subscribe. Definitely appreciate it. If I get a good reception on this, maybe when the real game comes out, we'll cover more secrets, or we can even maybe I'll just post some runs of the game on here if people are interested in that. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching. I do have a cards deck tech coming out in the near future, probably later this week. It's a spicy one, so make sure to stay tuned for that. But otherwise, have a good day.